Keith here with weekend review. I guess I'll just start off by telling you that I was in with the Canadian Volkswagen emissions. So we're on to Medicine Hat. If you guys don't know anything about it, Volkswagen Canada, Volkswagen head office back in the day lied about their emission control and had their cars programmed to lie, I guess, to when they're doing emission controls, and they were caught. So it all went to court. That started back in 2014, I believe, effective 2015. The government, it went through lawsuits or whatever, so now they have to physically buy back our cars. Or we can take them in and they'll fix them and do whatever, or we can do a buyback where they'll buy them back from us. Or I believe they'll do a trade-in where we can trade them in on another vehicle, that kind of thing. We're doing a buyback, so we're on our way to Medicine Hat. My wife's in the Volkswagen Passat. It's a 2015, fully loaded as much as you can get when we bought it. The review on the car. The car was very good made. Like, it was, I only had a few complaints about the car. The car was phenomenal fuel economy. Up here in Canada, if you guys are watching from the US, we could put in about $60 Canadian, and I could average around 12 to 1,400 kilometers in the car, depending on the type of driving I was doing. If I was driving over the speed limit, then I might only get 11 to 1,200. If I was driving the speed limit, I would get really close to 1,400 kilometers. Towards that, the car was phenomenal. I could not say nothing bad about that part. The build of the car, it was solid, quiet, a great vehicle. Now, here's where they lack in everything. I paid $40,000 for this car. I bought every single option they could possibly put into that car. And we're talking, I bought it in 2015. It was a 2015 model. The electronics on it, the stereo, the Bluetooth system, the backup camera, all that stuff was garbage. It just, the technology was so far behind. Volkswagen did a phenomenal job on fuel economy and all that stuff, but they did a terrible job on the comforts. If you're spending $40,000 for a vehicle, it should do everything and anything you could possibly want in 2015. And this car had, the technology in the car was so bad that I bought a 2013 work truck Dodge. It was an SLT, and it's got 10 times more options. And it's my work truck. Like, like the Bluetooth on my truck, I could push the thing and say, call so-and-so, and it would get it 99% of the time. In my Volkswagen, I would ask it to call A to Z Plumbing or something, and it would call, it would just call somebody that was totally different and started with a W. The hands-free on the thing, if it worked 1% of the time, I'd be very amazed. The stereo was supposed to be, it was made by the speakers, I believe, were Infinity. The radio is a Volkswagen factory. It was supposed to have this kick-ass sound system. I think my 1980 car that I had before had a better sound system. And here you're paying big bucks for this Infinity sound system, and to me it was below average. My truck, for instance, has a phenomenal sound system, and it's this Dodge factory, and that's what I'm getting at. Besides that, no backup alarms, the camera, you would back up and you'd have to wait like 3 seconds for the camera to kick in. And then the camera wasn't very, it was so small, it was hard to see. And you'd put it in drive and you could go probably 150 feet before the camera would shut off, and you couldn't get to your stereo. You would hit, on the steering wheel controls, you would hit the up volume and it would have a 3-second delay. Or if you wanted to change the channels, there was always a 3 to 4 second delay between your steering wheel and your vehicle, or your stereo system. So it was just as easy to reach over and touch the stereo system. The command start for it had an automatic command start built into the car. You had to hit a sequence of 3 different buttons, and it was hard. You would do it, it would honk. If you didn't do it the right way, you'd have to redo it. Sometimes you would do it and you would lock yourself. It wasn't great. It was terrible. My truck, it's got a piece on the keychain. You push it twice and the truck starts. The car, you'd have to push lock, we'd have to push unlock, and then you'd have to push lock, and then you'd have to push this button twice. Sometimes it would work, sometimes it wouldn't. I could be right next to the car, it wouldn't start. I could be a half a block away, it would start. It was just so finicky. So Volkswagen's got to, if they want to come back out into the market after this big scandal, and they're I was reading the papers, and they're I can't remember, it was in the billions of dollars that they had to pay out in fines and buybacks. So I can imagine that can't be too good for a company. I used to have a 2005 Volkswagen Jetta diesel. Love that car. Had really good fuel economy, had great fuel economy. I bought another Volkswagen 2006 Volkswagen Jetta. Sorry, my first one was a 2003, I think. My next one was a 2006 Volkswagen Jetta diesel. Loved it. That's what I traded off on this Passat. It had a regular radio, didn't have any fancy gadgets, but the car got phenomenal fuel economy. It was good that way. Bought the Passat, nothing but disappointed. And of course, in the dealership, when you go to take a test drive, none of the stereo stuff is active. You can't use any of it. The GPS was terrible. That was the other thing. I would punch in an address and it wouldn't recognize it. I took it into Volkswagen. No, you're right up to date. And I'm saying, I'm trying to find this address in Calgary, and it doesn't recognize it. It doesn't show up. Oh, well, that's what we have. So, the GPS was garbage. You paid extra money for that. So they really, really need to improve on the actual electronics of the car. All the stuff, all the bells and whistles, all the creature comforts that you would expect in a $40,000 car. And I understand I'm not buying no $80,000 or $100,000 car, but when that's their top of the line vehicle and they promote all these options, they should work, and they should work good. Because when you're buying a car and you're spending $40,000, you expect it to work properly, and it doesn't. And that was my big beef on the whole thing. I will take some shots of my car before we hand it back. But this is my first review on Weekend Review. And just extremely, I would give I would give Volkswagen for fuel economy a 5 out of 5. I'm actually sad that I'm giving the car away for that reason only. The other issue for electronics, GPS, creature comforts, I would give it a 0 out of 5. Very terrible. Never would recommend a Volkswagen to anybody if they're looking for bells and whistles. If you're looking for fuel economy, you won't find a better vehicle on the market. You know, like to go 1,400 kilometers, if you're very careful on how you drove, like if you stayed at the speed limit of 100K, easily can get 1,400 after the car's broken. Now you guys got to understand, this car has 26,000 kilometers. It's not even broke in yet. And they're buying it back. So like the last 6 months since we found out this was going down, I parked my car and I didn't drive it, which I'm happy, because the more kilometers, the less money they pay you back. So I probably gained about 3,000 to 4,000 on my buyback by parking it. But in the same boat, I paid my mortgage down, or my loan down on the car. Would I buy another Volkswagen? Maybe in about 5 years when they fix all the comfort of it. But right now, no. I got a pretty bad taste in my mouth, and I would not. And not because Volkswagen cheated the emissions. That's just a bonus for me, because they're going to buy back the car. Because the electronics, like for what I paid for my car, that should have been a $25,000 car for what they gave you for the creature comforts. $40,000, nowhere near worth it. Like it's $15,000 overrated. And I know the dealerships aren't making $15,000, so like Volkswagen is billing you way too much for their vehicles. So yeah, I'll take some photos of my car. We're handing it back today, and they tell me in 20 days I should get a check back so that I can pay off my loan. Plus they're also paying us money on top for inconvenience. I heard it's around $6,500. So by the time I'm done, I should end up with around $38, $39. But I'll let you know how that turns out, because what they tell you, and then when you go up here, they're probably gonna give me $10,000 for my car and say, well, that's all you're gonna get. Then we'll have a fight on our hands. Okay, thanks for watching, and stay tuned, and I'll have some more footage here of my car when we go to Volkswagen. Hey guys, Keith here with so I got done at the dealership, and they are buying the car back, and I should receive about $38,000 and some change back for the car. So yeah, that's my weekend review. Look forward to some new reviews. I want to review my Can-Am Spyder, some new tech gear, including this. This is the new Garmin Vibe Ultra 30. It's a really cool camera. I'm going to review that. I also got a water bottle that I'd like to review that we bought at Costco for traveling. It's really, really good, really efficient, keeps things cold up to over 24 hours and keeps things hot for 12. Plus I got some new camera gear coming in, and we should start our bike trip soon. So stay tuned, follow this channel if you want to watch more. Make sure you subscribe down below. And thanks for coming and checking me out.